Hello, hello. Happy week 10 of distance learning. Yeah, I'm going to go over some of the Delta math, make sure you guys feel confident with it. So let me share my screen. Here we go. Share. Okay, so what you should see on the screen hopefully is the Delta math. So there's two little categories within week 10 practice. There is box method and then just multiplying binomials. So hopefully at this point you have watched the YouTube video. If you haven't watched the YouTube video for week 10, which is on multiplying binomials, then you shouldn't watch this yet. Okay, I want you to watch the video lesson first, and then you can watch this video to get some help before you do Delta. So let's try out the box method. Okay, this isn't my favorite way to solve binomial multiplication, but it is a pretty good strategy, especially since I think this little grid thing is how you guys maybe learned multiplication. It's not how I learned multiplication, but I think you guys learned it that way, maybe. Anyways, so you take whatever's in this first set of parentheses, and we're going to place it on top here. So I'm going to click and drag this negative 5x right here. I'm going to click and drag the positive 1 right here. Okay, so that term, those two terms are going to go on the top. And that means the second set of parentheses, x minus 6, we're going to put it along the side here. So I'm going to take that positive x and place it right here, and the negative 6 and place it right here. So then it creates this little 2x2 chart. And in these little boxes here, we are going to write the product, which means the multiplication answer, to each row times each column. So x gets multiplied by negative 5x to make negative 5x squared. Now, do you remember how to do the exponent? Use that little arrow button above your number 6 on your keyboard. Okay, then I'm going to do this box, which is the product of x and 1. So you take the column times it by the row. Okay, or row times column, whatever. X times 1 is just x. For this box, it's going to be the product of negative 6 and negative 5x. Negative times negative is positive, so that would be 30x. And then the last one here is negative 6 times positive 1, which is negative 6. Okay, so we can hit try, and it's going to double check that what you have in the boxes is correct. And it says correct. Now write the simplified answer below. Now simplified means we need to combine like terms. Well, the negative 5x squared doesn't have any other x squareds to go with it, so I'm going to copy that down. Okay, and then the 30x and the x can go together. 30x plus 1x is 31x. Plus 31x, and then the negative 6 doesn't have anything to combine with it, so we just drop it in. My answer is in standard form, which means highest power to lowest, what I want. So I'm going to hit submit. Cool. Okay. If you don't get it right, it'll actually do an animation, I believe, and kind of show you how to do it. I'm going to do one more box method, and then we'll try out the other thing. Okay, so this 6x, now you can place it here, or you could place it on the side. It doesn't really matter. But if I put 6x on top, I got to put the positive 1 with it on top. That's key. So I'm going to drag negative 5x over here and 1 over here. Okay, now we do the multiplication. Each row gets times by each column. Negative 5x times 6x is negative 30x squared. Negative 5x times 1 is just negative 5x. 1 times 6x is 6x. 1 times 1 is 1. Try. Got that part correct. We're not done. Now you combine like terms. So negative 30x squared, you just pop that down. Doesn't have any x squareds to combine with it. But you can add the 6x minus 5x. 6 minus 5 is 1, so that'd be a positive 1x. You can write 1x, but you could also just write x, okay? And then plus 1. Boom, there we go. Okay, so you only have 5 of those, so should be okay. And then here is just straight up two binomials being multiplied. Now, I triple dog dare you not to use Photomath or cheat, okay? I want you to learn how to do this. That's the whole point. So you're gonna need a piece of paper. You're gonna need a scratch piece of paper. Now you can use box method. If you're like, oh yeah, I love that. It makes sense. I got it down. Use box method. Do the little grid on your piece of paper. I honestly don't. I prefer foil because I think it's faster, okay? But don't use foil if you don't know how to use foil. Watch that video, remember? Okay, so foil. So I wrote it down and now I'm just gonna start. My first two numbers, so x and x times x is x squared. And I do O, which is the outside, so that'd be the x, and then the 4. X times 4 is 4x, okay? And I'm writing my work as I go. Now I'm gonna take that 10 and distribute it. 10 times x, so those are my inside terms, 10x. And then I'm gonna do my last terms, which would be the 10 and the 4. 10 times 4 is 40. So on your scratch piece of paper, you'd have something like this, okay? I'm not done though. This is not simplified. I'm gonna go ahead and combine my x's together, okay? So 4x plus 10x would be 14x. Drop everything else down. And what I have here is x squared plus 14x plus 40. Now, before I type in my answer, I'm gonna check my work. X squared, 4x, 10x, 40. Yep. Okay. So x to the second power plus 14x plus 40. Okay, cool. All right, next problem. So like I said, you can do box method if you want. I am a foil person because that's how I was taught it, and I don't know, it's just what I like. But on this little section of Delta, feel free to use whatever you want. If you like the box method, just make sure you're showing your work off to the side, okay? Don't want you cheating on Photomath. It's just a waste of your time. So first, that would be 3x times 3x, which is 9x squared. Then I go to O, which is outside. So I'm going to take my 3x and times it by my 1, which is 3x. My inside terms, 10 times 3x, which is 30x. And then I go to my last terms, which would be the 10 and the 1. 10 times 1 is 10. So here's what I have on my little scratch piece of paper. First, outside, inside, last. And now I need to go ahead and combine like terms. So 3x plus 30x, that'd be 33x. Drop down the other stuff. And I'm gonna double check real quick. 9x squared plus 3x plus 30x plus 10, combine, boom. So final answer is 9x squared plus 33x plus 10. Okay, cool. So to prepare yourself for your quiz has 4 questions, and none of them are just, hey, answer it, because I know it's easy to cheat if I just have you write in the answer, okay? So you're gonna have to write explanations. 2 of them you explain fully. So on this question that's on my screen here, if it said explain how to simplify, you'd be typing this, but I'm just gonna explain in words, okay? Now I highly recommend doing the problem off to the side, so I'll go ahead and do that. So 2x minus 3 times 2x plus 10. So here's what I'd start typing. First, we multiply 2x times 2x, which equals 4x squared, period. And I go to my next. And by the way, I'm using foil. If you use box method, you would have to explain all that, okay? Then I multiply my outside terms. So 2x times positive 10, which is positive 20x, period. Next, we multiply negative 3 times 2x, which is negative 6x, And finally, we multiply the last two terms, which is -3 times +10, which equals -30. Now, work-wise, you have just explained all of this. So you would need to make one final statement and say, after we combine like terms, you would have a final answer of 4x squared plus 14x minus 30. Okay, so you can do your work off to the side, but what I want is I want you to be typing all of this out. Okay, so you have two of those where you explain it fully, and then you have two problems where we've done this recently. I give you silly Sally and silly Billy, and they make some errors. So I show you their work, and you have to tell me what their error was. You don't have to tell me what the correct answer is. You need to tell me what mistake they made. Did they not distribute the secret -1? That was last week's, okay? Or maybe they forgot that a negative times a negative is a positive, but you need to be specific, okay? You need to say where they messed up and what they should have done, okay? You don't necessarily have to fully answer the final question because you'll do that later on in the other two, but you do need to be clear on what their error was, okay? So that should be a pretty good setup for your quiz. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys working hard on this. Bye. Uh-oh.